that black people really struggle with seeing greatness in other black people. Black people have such a negative view of themselves. They really struggle with seeing fire. That's the whole thing with this black man thing, yo. Yes, there are black men out here not doing their thing. But how many black men out here doing their thing, fire? The thing is so bad that even if he's doing this thing, you can't see that he's doing this thing. You still see him as a loser. You still see him as an uneducated black man when the man is brilliant, educated with degrees, working, taking care of his family. Because you can't see past stereotypes because it's so ingrained in your psyche. If he a family man, it's some comment. You know what I'm saying? If he educated, he white. If he getting bread, he greedy. Why can't he just be a dope person? Why can't he just be a dope black man?
2,000 years in Babylon.
Fire, what you said?
Yes, I read. Life is great, you know?
Serious thing. We are here again, Ballhead and the Dread Podcast. We give a thanks to my brethren here. I got Foundation shirt on, WFMU, Reggae School Room, Jeff Sarge. If you want to listen to some sweet reggae music and you don't want to listen to I Never Knew Radio, make sure you tune in. Reggae School Room, WFMU, from 9 to noon with the legendary musical master, the great Jeff Sarge. Far right, let the people know about the documentary there circulating.
Yes, Cure My Pain, marijuana documentary out, story have to get to you, them why them use marijuana. Check it out, and if you don't like it, or if you like it, make you know the same way.
Now, a big time link in the description. Make sure you click it and watch it. Also, I have to remind the people, if you get free time, make sure you check us out here, INeverKnewTV.com. Also, if you want to hear some reggae music, we are spinning every Sunday, WLOI.org, from 9 to 11 a.m. And another option is WFMU.org, Reggae School Room, with my musical mentor, the great Jeff Sarge. Far right, what we're reasoning about today?
Yes, well, the reason of today is one where I say, you can't really feel like say you can trust people who don't trust people. And then, on top of that now, you have this thing, we realize that with majority of people, them find the most minute fault for discredit people. So that really what I reason about today. I show ones and ones say, life is really bigger than all of them type of fault finding where we really pick out in somebody and try to discredit them,
Serious thing. And I grew up around fault finders, right? Because the church vibe, if you ever grew up around church, let me not generalize it. I'm going to talk about the people I grew up around, right? They were real fault finders, right? And what I noticed that, and I guess when I was younger, there was a sense of fault finding within myself because you grew up with it, you grew out of it. I remember one specific instance, there were men were discussing Malcolm X, the Malcolm X movie, and it was something with Spike Lee did something, and they were trying to discredit everything he did. And it wasn't until I read a book called Man in the what's the Marcus, Man in the Big Hat, or Man in the something hat, Marcus Garvey book there. Right there, Man in
Negro with a hat.
Negro with a hat. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
with a hat.
Okay.
Where I really understood the
rise and fall of Marcus Garvey.
Yeah.
Yes, I.
Yeah. Cause that bridge didn't have a great book on the wheel is also English author. I forgot his name. But
Collins.
something Collins.
Collins. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Robert Collins or
I
something.
remember I reached out to him at times, but I never heard from him. I need to reach out to him again. Brilliant. Reading that book, I got a clearer understanding of why the fault finding is so prevalent. Not saying that other coaches don't do it, but it's very high in the black community. And it's like people, one, it's a grudgefulness. We got to acknowledge that there's a grudgeful red-eye jealousy thing in there, right? But in their defense, they're looking for a perfect being, fire. It's that Christianity creeping in again. And they're because they're looking for you to be some savior or some perfect being. And when there's any fault there, they feel disappointed. And also, there's another aspect that we have to acknowledge is that we struggle with seeing the good in our own people. We struggle to accept the good in people that look like us. And because of that, we find anything fire. I mean, the most pointless thing the what's the name, you know, and I think YouTube is believe it or not, YouTube is a great space to really see that culturally what people comment on. You have a person doing something, and somebody find the most, I don't want to say pointless because it's something to them to really take on and find a fault. So we have to acknowledge in their defense that we have to acknowledge the savior complex, and we have to acknowledge that Black people really struggle with seeing greatness in other Black people. I don't know, what's the term, myopia or something? What's the term when you can't see stuff clearly? I forgot. It's a term though, right? When you can't see stuff clearly. And I've noticed this, especially with teaching, bro, right? Is really Black people have such a negative view of themselves. They really struggle with seeing, sorry, that's the whole thing with this Black man thing, Yes, there are Black men out here not doing their thing. But how many Black men out here doing their thing, Fire? The thing is so bad that even if he's doing his thing, you can't see that he's doing his thing. You still see him as a loser. You still see him as an uneducated Black man when the man is brilliant, educated with degrees, working, taking care of his family. Because you can't see past the stereotypes because it's so ingrained in your psyche. If he a family man, it's some comment. You know what I'm saying? If he educated, he white. If he getting bread, he greedy. Why can't he just be a dope person? Why can't he just be a dope Black man? But I said all that to say is that is one of the issues with the fault finding, the savior we do have the savior complex, but people really struggle. Like, people are so beaten down and have such a bad image of themselves that they projected that they can't see any good in another Black person.
The thing rough enough for you because you see, what the people them no overstand, so sometimes words sound a power to, because you always hear a man say, our people say, say, I don't like this way him do, but you realize say, it's always about what them don't like. Most people now go find the positive, and say, so I like them particular things, but I don't like this. Because it's like almost like the people them condition. I'm not even want to limit it to the Black people alone to because I realize it's something where it has become so universal. It's almost like a universal trend towards how mankind move. But the reason why we even have to talk about it in a Black people though is because China people them see as a people who at least organized people. And what they would have considered up on the bottom of the ladder in regards to finances and all of these different areas, we don't really understand the unity is strength. And we don't really understand the concept of what unity is. Because here we're mistaken as a people now. We start mix up this unity and uniformity thing. Because most time when I want disagree with something, what them brother or sister say, them disagree with it because them would do it a different way. And when we get to overstand, it's not like say them a disagree or find a fault in a something way it's particularly wrong, Them a find a fault in a something where them don't like. So you see the difference? If you find a fault in a something where wrong, it is a big difference from finding a fault in a something where you would do a next way, And that's what I see the line start get away now because I'm gonna say then why him walk on the avenue there for reach over this so. But him could have walked on the other avenue and then them thing they you mentioned YouTube and the perfect place to choose because you realize that most times the people comment even on certain videos and certain things on YouTube. That's a way where them really are saying, say I don't like this because, but them not telling why them like it. Yes, why them would like it. So it's like the people in program for being negative and find the most minute thing, and then when a man now put in so much work and get to a particular level, it's almost like everybody wants to try to drag him down to a particular level just because him never do it for them way. And at this and how the things start to get topsy-turvy,
But Fire, you bring up a great point in regards to that negative aspect, that just negative outlook. And I think it's trending. The trending thing is to like hate on people. Like that's the thing. That's like the cool thing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, cause it start off a whole debate and you can go back out to it and it continues,
It's a little vibe and a hype and attention. But what I wanted to say was back to this Black people struggling to see the greatness in other Black people is that I notice this with artists, right? And the reason I say artists, because like artists get a lot of slack, bro. You know what I'm saying? People give them a lot of slack and criticize them a lot. But what you notice with the artists is that, as you were just stating in regards to that, like, we don't know how to disagree on a particular thing. The disagreement is the absolute thing. So there's Far Right, right? Far Right is my breakthrough. When I don't like something Far Right did, I just cut off Far Right now. No, you know what I'm saying? And we haven't learned how to communicate if there is a disagreement. So it's a lack of having certain tools that leads to things going, because Far Right, enough lives been lost over the most foolish disagreements. When you hear, like, you know, if you lose a friend or something go down and you get the sound that really went down, it's like, man, it's kind of pointless. But the people who were engaged in this disagreement didn't have the basic tools or the demeanor or the emotional intelligence to deal with this in a manner where life didn't have to be lost. Because the majority of murders are done over foolishness. Don't get it twisted. Total foolishness, something that shouldn't even be a conversation, or a lot of times it's misunderstanding and also misinterpretation. Far Right. Not alone with, you get what I'm saying? Things are misinterpreted. You viewed it in a way that is skewed. That's not what occurred, or that's not what that person said. You heard it wrong. Or you don't have the ability to process information, so you heard it wrong. You processed that wrong. So I think it's a mixture of lack of skills, not just like verbal skills, but like soft skills also. It's just a failure of having basic skills that can be used to iron out disagreements. And I think that in our community, and maybe other communities, we're talking about Black people here, I've learned and I've experienced this throughout my whole life. This is nothing new. This has been a child. Anytime there's a disagreement, there's a totality. There's an absolute cutoff of the person. So I can't just say, yo, you know, I really dislike the way that person does that, right? I just despise the person now. And I think that's one of our big issues, where like we haven't learned how to disagree and communicate with each other. We haven't learned to say, you know what, fine. I think that's one of the big things with relationships too, because I was talking with a breakthrough too, because it all ties in. You know, he has an issue with something that his lady does, but it's like this whole issue with her disregarding, as you said, not looking at all the positive things. How did this one issue now just corrupt everything else good that she does? Why can't we say that, like, all right, she does this I don't like, but she does all these other things that are good? It's like, oh, she's just a bad person all of a sudden now because of that one thing. You know, and you see where this becomes a problem now, right? Because that's marriage now, which we need, a strong marriage, is dissolved now because that person couldn't, like, kind of navigate that situation. Because of that one aspect now, they just totally, like, were blocked off to all the good traits of his lady. And many people listen probably can relate, but it's just like, you know, we haven't developed that skill. In a conversation, I think, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think it's a conversation that's needed, like respect to men, adults, mature adults in my life that we've had disagreements, and it's just, you know, it's a conversation or a phone call, or, you know. Barry, do we agree on everything?
Yeah, or if we agree upon everything. Yeah. So me have a natty upon my head, and then I'm all in serious upon this. You see me I say?
But we do have different views, differing views on stuff, right? And we do just like
that natural.
And we still
natural.
chilling. It's a vibe still though, right?
And that natural same way, and it can't broke the energy and the spirit, because you see enough people are overstanding it. It's almost like everybody want to have a dictatorship in a sense. And it's almost and them dependent upon, all right, say, me want to come out as a stronger person on top. So in this dictatorship, me need to be the person where I become the ultimate ruler. And me need to rule all your thoughts, rule all your movements, rule all your energy, and make sure say it go towards my liking, not overstanding. Say everyone have a different part to play. And then you see the whole concept now, even from an economic standpoint, as Black people now in particular, when we really want to put this towards, it a destroy way from an economical standpoint. I know what the perfect example I'm gonna use. All right, say a black brother or sister of a restaurant. The food cook good, everything deal with nice. The professionalism is there. A person don't like spicy food, and this food end up spicy. Right off the top alone, them would slander the person business and say, oh no, them slander the person be so minute that is. That is such a minute fucking
Restaurant thing, I've experienced that firsthand. But the thing is, it's grudgefulness, Farai. In those instances, it's really grudgefulness in the sense that why would you try to like this person as a business, right? They have to fight so hard to do God knows what to get a business. Why would you just say it again, the absolute business? How are you going to criticize the whole business because of one aspect that you didn't like that could have been fixed? If you went to the person and say, Farai, the food, I think your food a little too spicy, yeah? Man, thanks for telling me. I'll cool down on the spice. Or they'll say, hey, usually is the food spicy. When you order next time, I tell them to tone it down. No, they run through the whole vibe. You see, back again with the absolute thing. But what I'm saying is that to a certain extent, and come back in for it, but to a certain extent, I have to defend the people because where would you learn how to do this? You get what I'm saying? So I can't go criticize a man that didn't learn to do it when the environment, that's all they do. And the ones who did it for whatever reason learn, or they on a journey, or they learned it somehow. But the average person has not learned it because you see it all the time. The church, the people that are cursing about their church, because our church, I forgot. I've been so far gone, but I guess what's the group that sing in the beginning again? Not offering. They sing before the choir. Anyway, the people that sing before the choir sing, right? Oh, they don't like that. Not going back. They disregard everything else the church doing, yeah? Or this person in position. So it's just all these minute things, and I think it's a grudgefulness, and also it's just like, it's a confusion too. It's a drama because you have some people, nothing going on in their life. They sit around all day, nothing not going on. So they just like to stir up problems and deal with confusion. And that's across the board. That's not a black thing. That's just a people thing. Before I jump back in, I hope you remember your argument.
Now, but it's just that most people don't really understand. Say them disrupt a whole structure when them by the behaviors what them doing. Again, there I say you can't really blame them sometimes because they don't really understand the thing on such a heights level. But no, say alright, say if me drag down this person business, there's a whole domino effect will take place. Because you can't. It's that where people just don't understand. Say there's a bigger picture towards. For every action, there's a reaction. And then for everything there's a consequence to. We have to understand that this world is bigger than all of we, regardless of what we ego might tell we or regardless of what we might feel like. All of these faults we find. You see, if we take 1 second, I'm not even talk about a minute, if we take 1 second and look internally, the amount of faults we would have find with ourselves. And you see, any day, name day, we look internally and find fault within ourselves. I better so we stop try to find so much fault with people externally. Because when I understand, say, we are human, nobody is perfect, But the bigger picture is what we always have to pray. And I think as a people, we're kind of short-sighted when it comes to the bigger picture. Like, for instance, I love the topic here I run to because, for instance, I think to myself since night, say, I have to talk to myself and I say, say, I not agree with everybody in the world, but I always feel like everybody when I come across or every organization I come across, I can learn something from them. For instance, I talk about church, I think about Seventh-day Adventists. There's something what I admire so much about Seventh-day Adventists. I admire the discipline where them have towards even eating food, the type of food where them eat, or them treat them temple in a particular way. I admire that, or them deal with the Sabbath, or them make sure say them very keen upon that and them stick towards it, and them admire Muslim because I say praying 5 times a day, you have to discipline for do that. So it's even though me not identify myself as being none of them groups there, but there's every group where you come across, and so you have to be a big person for really acknowledge them type of things there.
And far right that line, you don't remember this. I remember a couple years ago, I was telling them about a little situation I was dealing with a person. You don't remember this. I can't fully say it online, but I was dealing with a person. The person was burning me out. And, the man said, I'm looking at it wrong, yo. He said, yo, you're not looking at the virtue the person had for a certain behavior. I saw the behavior as, now I don't know if you know or remember what we're talking about, but I saw the behavior as kind of like mediocre, but you saw the virtue in it. You're not lying. The bridge, you're not lying. And the great midnight said we got to turn the eye back on ourselves. But the approach you have, far right, which I think most progressive people have, is that, as I said, you don't agree with the theology of the Seventh-day Adventists. So there are many other aspects you probably don't agree with. But even within that, we can take something. I always talk about pirating. You can adopt something that's beneficial to you. With me, I'm the same way. There are a lot of things I disagree with, but you best to believe there's something I can take from this thing that's beneficial to me. And I think that's the message that we have to, and we saying, and I want to be clear, we're not fully agreeing with stuff and letting certain things and say you can't criticize things, but it's a constructive criticism the way it's done. It's not too emotional in the sense that I feel, I feel away. Yeah, I feel. What is a waste of time? And some people just preying other people things too tough, yeah.
Yeah, you can't do no good for enough people in a fire. No matter how good you try to excel, or you try to improve your life, or you try to stay up on a steady curve. And man, fire, you will have all a tune like all even One Love, or again, I try use something universal. You will have a song like One Love, or some type of song where you can't really think about nothing bad that can come from it. Even though if you break it down on a level, you might. But generally speaking, it doesn't matter how positive a song is. It doesn't matter what message it wants to send. You're going to see a dislike. And why is that? Because everybody don't like the same thing. But you see, it's not just the dislike is a problem, It's the fact that you go beyond certain means to try to find a reason why. I've tried to find a fault with the item, not just a song, a person behavior, the way a person live, the way a person do things. Everybody is just, I feel like we get too consumed by this, and there I say it perfectly, it's a trending thing, but no,
it's a trending
me start to wonder. The question I'm going to ask there, though, there is a trending, I agree with that, but normally when I hear the term trending, it's something will last for only a time. To the way I see this, it look like something where almost so engraved in the people that it's not just something where will last for one time. So when you say trending, do you see it as something where will last a minute amount of time, or just for a while and then shift again? Or is it a culture, a trend where become a culture now instilling I and I people?
I hope it's not. I'm speaking with faith. So I'm hoping that it hasn't seeped into the culture. But we have to acknowledge, like, the time that we're in with the social media fire. Bad mind is a trend. Bridge and Taurus Riley have a tune called Stop Watch. Stop Watch Your Brother Progress, because the magic stop watching. It's just it's just the progress. But what we have now is we have a lot of people on the sidelines, man. We have a lot of people on the sideline watching people play, and it's nothing to do but comment. And because we have these devices now, they have instead of whispering to a friend or telling this or even telling you a person, they have this big platform. And I will say this, though, we have to acknowledge this, and this is a conversation we have to have. A lot of things people do on social media, they don't believe in it, but they do it for the attention. And because the way the culture gives attention to certain stuff, we see certain behaviors more. But I don't think that the people really believe in it. And I'll give you an example, right? A big thing now is like a relationship advice and date. I believe the reason there's such a negative narrative on relationships because that's what will get the views, that's what will get the attention. So if a person say, yo, my wife is the greatest, my husband's the greatest, don't nobody care. So because attention is the new currency, they find themselves saying something or doing something they necessarily don't believe in or practice for the attention. And because everyone's doing it now for the attention, it's kind of like a weird, what they call it, herd mentality thing going on. Because just like what will get the attention. And these are the things, and like just, hating on people. And it's kind of funny in a sense because I'm like, because with sports, even though like I don't talk about sports and this and that, I always had a vibe with people who didn't play sports commenting on sports, right? Not saying because you didn't play a sport, you can't comment on sports, but there are very few people who understand the essence of the sports on the heights when they didn't play or they weren't a part of that sport. And a lot of the comments are just so emotional, as you say. You just don't like the person, and you make comments about their craft that are inaccurate because you don't like the person. So your dislike for the person influences your critique of their ability. And on social media, that's just the norm. You have people who are unversed, uneducated in a particular topic, speaking about that topic or criticizing someone else's performance in that topic. And you could do it at a click of the button. And the sweetest thing about it, you don't have to see him in person. Anytime a person could jump through that screen and see you in person, Fire, all this talking is cut down 90%, maybe 95%. You probably have 5% of real people that probably still say it, but everybody else, but hey, how you doing? Let's take a picture, or that type of vibe. But they don't because any real person, me personally, I don't know any real man that's talking on social media to nobody. You know, if I had an issue with somebody, I would just call him or I would go see him. Those are the only two forms of communication. Why am I talking about you in a public forum? If me and Fari kicked off right now, right, I had a big shebang. Yo, let's go look over here and go talk about this. Man, that's so crazy, yo, when you think about it. How people gonna look at me like, what's wrong with this man, yo? Why you going here talking about this man like this in public, yo? No, I gotta call Fire and tell him the program, say, yo, this can't work. Boom, boom, or we go meet in person. We gotta go talk this out. Okay, well, I'm talking to you about the issue I got with this man. I ain't gonna solve the issue with this man. And it's none of your business anyway. It's a private issue. You pre it. But remember, the source of it, and that show you the friendship foolishness too when people do that. But the source of it is not to come to a solution. The source of it is for hype. And the things people do for attention. That's the thing. And like people are really out growing adults like these kids doing all these things for attention. It's just like, why? And here goes the next part too. What are we teaching our children? Our children don't know conflict resolution. Oh, me and this person got an issue. I'm going to go online and say something crazy about the person. They ain't helping nobody. It's not helping your energy. I don't know why your energy's so bad that you got tired of making videos about somebody and you don't learn conflict resolution. What type of relationship you going to have long-term with anybody? What type of marriage you going to have? You got a problem with your spouse and you going to go online and talk about it?
Well, so the thing's still enough for you.
Temper tantrums, Fire.
No, cut there still, but you know, so that's the thing doing a fire. You see, it fuel to a fire is when you find a fault with some and other people agree with you. So that is the thing, you know. People do these things because them need to get a reassurance. Finding fault is finding the minute fault in something is okay. So, you know, say for instance, you throw something online, people are going to comment, and people are more than likely in a your friend list who have the same type of mindset, or have a same, probably have a particular respect for you, or have a same fault for them are going to find too. Them are going to just end up now, just start throw fuel to the fire, and then the thing are going to just get worse and worse and spiral out of control. But you see, the worst part is that the ego now of this person who find this fault and throw it even online to is just that it start get worse. And I said, no, it start. And even offline too, you know, fire, because I don't want it to look like it's just an online thing in this. Offline too, because finding fault right now, you know, fire is like a thing, you know. It's a thing for, as we say, trending. It's a thing for everybody when we see it take place now and then. You have this next set of people to whom don't want the reasoning done when I really highlight for them type of attributes to, you know, where they not trust nobody. You not trust nobody. Like, yeah, everybody is automatically skeptical of everybody. And it's okay if put people through a test and people come in your circle, you know, because don't get twisted, you know. I don't want to make it seem like so you just invite anybody in your circle. You have to make sure so you have a standard. You see, and we have a standard, and then anybody come in your circle, them have to have credibility. And then on top of credibility, them energy have right, and you have to have certain things we have to go test. But that's not what I talk about. I talk about people who automatic. For one, me know say growing up, me used to hear this whole heap of people say them not eat from people, but then them just something you see them dress up and say them go in a restaurant. So isn't that people you're eating from? So it just show you say, oh, that makes sense for you. It's automatically like you say you don't eat from your people. And that the way you tell me now, you don't eat from your people because you don't trust your people, but you trust a stranger. You trust a stranger who in a restaurant who cook for you. So it never really makes sense to me when them say them don't. But yet still you don't eat from people. But when you cook, you want people eat the food. So you see, the meditation, when I use that as the simple example, you know, just to show people, because you don't eat from people, but when you cook, you want people eat food. You have to understand that life is really, really bigger than that for you, because if you always skeptical of people, people are always skeptical of you, and if all of we in this world are skeptical of one another, and we don't trust one another and at all, again, I not tell you say you must give away your trust so loosely, so I don't want to make it seem like that's what I'm saying. But what I say is that there's good people out in the world, and if you don't open yourself to get embraced by other good people in the world, then you're going to see everybody as being this phony, or everybody as being this outside person, while everybody looking at you the same way. And what that really going to breed forward to the world now. It only make all of we just to power with our own self as enemies now, and we have to own a little box run ourselves now, and we're not gonna get nothing solved. We're not gonna have no form of solution towards the thing. So what me with such as people do is, yeah, you have to keep a little guard up. You have to understand say your circle is very important, and you letting anybody into your circle determine your progress in a life. But then you have to understand say you still everybody where you know now are having a your circle as this good person, you know. Once you never did know them, you not talk about your blood brother or your blood sister, and everybody in your circle you didn't know, or you even get to know them in the first place. See, I understand say life really bigger than the way how we think it for you. And we can't feel like say everybody from the outside is an enemy, because you see, if we view every one of our people them as an enemy, best believe for you, there is no form of unison to take place amongst none of we at all.
Can I tell you something now? My experience. I just want to be clear, this is my experience, not nobody else's experience. It's not no generalization. It's not no rule of thumb. I just want to be, so you got to clarify sometimes. People don't listen. The better I became as a person is the better people I attracted in my life. Not saying, you know, it hasn't been some vibes with people, right? But those vibes been more on a business vibe, not necessarily on a relation vibe. The better I became as a person, the higher quality type of people I attracted in my life. I can speak about my personal experience. There may be some other factor going on, I don't know. But the correlation I see is the more solid I became as a person and the better I became as a person is the better people that came into my life. So the reason I said that is the person who's skeptical of everyone, maybe they need to improve their frequency and they'll attract people who are higher quality. So they'll have to be skeptical. That's the reason I said it. As I said, I ain't getting into no metaphysics. I ain't talking about what I read in no book fire. I'm talking about what I experienced in my life. So maybe these people who everybody bad at this and that, maybe, just when it's that consistent thing now, not saying, yeah, it's just constantly these type of people, maybe you're that type of person also. That's what you attract.
Fire, me not tell you say me being a fire. Me go beyond the.
No, I don't want. No, because you know how people think because they want research, they want all this and all that. That's why I just said maybe and leave it for them to think.
Now, my experience tell me that enough for you. See, every time me see a person who is always skeptic of people, and people can never do anything right for them, their life is in shambles. Their life is always in shambles, and they're always miserable. That is number one thing for you. Every time I see people who are always skeptic of people, their number one trait and their number one attribute is being miserable.
Drama, far right, drama.
And the drama, so that alone tell you so it have to come from within them, and it's not really a speculation or a metaphysics. It's really a factual thing, and it's not and every facts. As it might sound weird to come from a person like me who's supposed to be this academia, but it is not every facts you need to validate out of a research or anything like that. You can see certain observation and know that for you, especially when you see certain people always have a drain energy everything is too complicated for them. Them type of people is always an internal rift. I feel like sometimes, most times, cause there's so much people suffering from trauma, but yet you don't never hear about it. I feel like, as I tell people every day, you have a powerful medicine we don't know about, and it's a hug, you know. I encourage all the parents, all the family members for just hug the younger ones, or hug even the older ones, them to who not get it fair. Because sometimes I really see some people and to them find fault with everything, and them always so skeptical of people. I feel like people always are going to hurt them or do them bad. I feel like sometimes them probably just need a hug, and that alone could can solve it. But because them not get that, it make them almost become so much more bitter. And I feel like them type of things that it bring with them, you know?
All right, we're going to end with this because it's funny you said that, because you remember earlier I was just saying that when we mentioned black people, like they can't see good in black people, black men. Remember, when you're on a certain height, right, you create certain problems, Farah, because that's what you're used to. You can't deal, like you don't want to, not saying that you can't, maybe you can't deal, but you don't want to deal with anything else. You need problems. Good times and good experiences freak you out. They make you uncomfortable. So if nothing's going on, you have to create something. You need constant drama. You need constant chaos. And everyone on here knows someone who is like that. Maybe you have been like that, or maybe you are like that. And you know it's time to grow and look into yourself. Right, if you come
treat me so good. So something have something in my mind, and I plan something, you know, him treat me so good.
And there's another fact. In defense, I have to defend our people, right? In defense, you know, a lot of people have traumatic. Now, so people don't feel deserving of good treatment. People don't feel deserving of peace. People don't feel deserving of happiness. They just generally don't. And it's all around you. If it's a chill, Farah, you ever been at just a chill vibe and somebody just kick off here over nothing? I know Christian people talk about spirit, this and that, but it's like, it's just, they can't have chill moments. They don't want things to go. They don't want people to get along. They have to create some animosity and some problems. That's their vibe. It's just the reality of it, and like when you see that, you just got to distance yourself and just bless them up and keep moving. There's nothing to argue with them because that's the essence of their being. That's who they are. It's just for you to remove yourself. You can talk to them till you turn blue. That's their thing. They have so much going on internally. What can you do? You're not a psychologist, right? You can't do that with them. You just long and wish them the best. And sometimes we argue with people we shouldn't be arguing with, all right? That's one thing I learned, like, kind of as I've gotten older, because, you're younger, you might just kick off and this and that. And I want to explain myself and I want to prove myself. And I want to, you're going, all right, they're not seeing my perspective anyway. Why waste my breath?
Sometime another time for them even get it. That's the thing I mean. So yes, there's some key a while ago still in a fire. They literally talk more life experience. Say made it really aggressive. I made it really aggressive, and that was one of the main things. Then, but I just lit a nail upon the head. I was so aggressive, and I was aggressive because most of the times when I come with the facts and I try to portray it to certain people, knowing it's a fact and it even proven, but because they not get it, it did aggravate me so much that it increased my aggression. But then I learn over time, say, when I need to have so much aggression, and probably it's not for them time to even get that message yet. So you have to just keep it moving, And
time and can't even process the message because they can't process something they don't want to hear. All right, if a person telling you the whatever, right? You the worst singer on earth, you're a trash singer. Right? You go hit the sweetest note, you still gonna say you're a trash singer? Because the issue is not the fact that he's a trash singer, something under that, but he's just saying you're a trash singer. And I think people, once you learn, it's so liberating to low people. People feel away because, people just, it's liberating to low people. As I said, it's a balance. You don't let people talk and all that, but you don't let people take advantage of you. But it's just like, if someone says something, it sounds kiddie like we kids, but it's true. And say someone says something that's so unfactual. Why am I responding? You get what I'm saying? Like literally, if somebody says something that's just like, why would I respond? And who, you know what I'm saying? It's just like kind of like, why would I respond? And why would I give you that time and energy?
Sometimes I the urge where you have to want them to know, but then again, you was still ignorant because you see a man as ignorant, you know. But you ignorant of the fact, say him now go change for him ways and him prone to finding a fault with these particular things. So you need to have the knowledge now to say, oh, let go of this. And everything you have always can teach a man. And sometimes the biggest lesson we can teach a man is to stay silent, knowing say avoid a whole altercation with an individual too. So them things they're very important, you know.
Yeah, my mother said you ain't gotta take up everything, you know.
Yeah.
If I knew this early, I say maybe 80% of the physical altercations I had early on when it take place. Yeah. Because they start with words like when I in retrospect, it's my pride. No one physically attacked me. It's my pride was hurt. And I made sure it went to I kinda pushed it to the physical vibe where it never had to go there. You get what I'm saying? And I give thanks that I was younger. You know, I don't do it now as a man. A lot of men still doing that, but it's like you gotta put your pride to the side and let people be. You know, so but the main thing is, man, see the brilliance in people. Yes, there are the negatives. We're not saying go in la la land where people are perfect, so don't take it as that. I know people want to take the thing way somewhere else and we will talk. You know, but you can disagree with an aspect of something and at the same time agree with another. But it's funny we said that. You remember what critical? And I said I'm not trying to be defender of people again, but I have to acknowledge this far. You remember when I told you when I was young I struggled with reading two different arguments? This could be the same thing because if a person don't have no critical thinking skills, they can't see how the same person I can agree with you and disagree with you. So maybe that comes down to basic education. In the sense that if there's one aspect which you disagree with, I have to disagree with the whole thing. That's what it seems like is taking place. Like there's not a mental capacity to say, you know what, I disagree with this part, but I agree with that part. It's like, no, I just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Maybe.
all or nothing.
Yeah,
all or nothing.
all or nothing, you know. So that may be a case, but we give thanks for everyone that tuned in, went for the long haul, listened to the podcast. Hopefully you I believe this podcast definitely there's something there that you should be applying to yourself to improve yourself. Turn that eye back on yourself. I forgot the song them Razor had, but Midnight have a song where you talk about turn it. I think it's on BD for Ashes album. Turning that inner eye back at yourself. Right? People preying people too much. You need to pre yourself. Also, you can disagree with one aspect of a person and agree with another aspect, but don't take the one disagree to miss out on things you can learn from a person. Forget the agreement part, right? We talk about what you can learn from a person. Sometimes you're around people you can be learning from, but you may disagree apart. Because I know a lot of times it's speaking. People don't like how people speak. How they spoke to me, that's a big thing. Like how they talk. Well, we get past the tone and listen to what they're saying, and maybe it's something you can take it and apply.
Yeah, me go as far as me hear black people. I can't believe black people are discredit Marcus Garvey. Or me or man we're supposed to be Rasta man I discredit Marcus Garvey because them say Marcus Garvey did have squabs with Haile Selassie. I mean I said this is real fire. Like is this real? Is this real?
But far right, and misinformation again, because if you ask them to break down the their relationship, they don't know their relationship. All they do, they heard the Bridges say Marcus Garvey said something against the emperor, and they just cut off. And not only cut off the man, discredit the man like this man not great.
Credit the man like him not nothing great. You know crazy that is fair?
That's the fault finding culture.
Yeah, fault finding culture that.
That's the fault finding culture. They find one thing. A man do all these things to find the slightest thing. Oh, I didn't get into it with the man. So let me be clear, because I was just like, what's the point? Yeah. But I heard somebody there trying to get at Malcolm X the other day off of one little futile thing, and I'm listening. I just kept it moving, because you already could tell people not ready to hear that. Yeah. The man there just carrying on about Malcolm X because of something that he heard. And gonna discredit the man's whole legacy, discredit everything.
All of them were.
inspired. How much people this man inspired? I did have an argument, not an argument, a reasoning, aggressive reasoning with somebody about Muda Baruka one day because it was there trying to say this and that. I said, fine. All right, you may disagree. I don't agree with everything Muda Baruka. I don't agree with all of Muda Baruka's views. But you gonna discredit the man, how much man this man inspire? How much people that came up under Muda Baruka doing great things? Come on, all right, these people, yeah. I don't
When
know.
you ever start think, let go the emotions and the whole
Stop talking in public. That's what we need to do. Some people just need to stop talking in public, whether it's amongst your peers or online. Fine, stop talking in public because you don't have nothing to say. Yeah, all the attention you're searching for not helping you. Yeah,
reality, yeah.
some people only source of attention is trying to tear down the next person. Yeah,
Reality, yeah.
some of these vlogs out there is just they got to find something crazy to say about somebody. Yeah, and most of it inaccurate anyway. But at the same time, you remember I told you about the market and the culture because they know people gonna watch it. So it's like, what do people want? But we give thanks again, same way. Make sure you check out Far Eyes documentary there on marijuana, link in the description. Also, if you want to hear some sweet reggae music, we are playing every Sunday 9 to 11, WLOY.org. I'm telling you, July is a very, very good month. IWTV, a lot of stuff, a lot of great people, a lot of great information. You should definitely learn something. So we give thanks till next time.